I do the top 20, I want to show you the honorable mentions. These are the types of figures where it's a good, these figures are good, but they don't belong in the top 20 because of flaws. But they are good figures regardless, and I do recommend getting them. Alright, now let's get started on top 20. The 20th place is Marvel Legends Black Widow, Target exclusive. This figure is really nice. This is the most articulated female figure from Marvel Legends. She's got double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, and she's got ab crunch as well as ball jointed chest joint, right? So this is a really nice figure, and she comes with a ton of accessories. She comes with 2 different heads. I mean, she comes with this and 2 other heads, and she comes with multiple hands and blast effect from the guns, the smoke effect, and she comes with the guns as well. Yeah, and she is very articulated. She's very flexible. So yeah, the reason why she's at the bottom of the top 20 is because I never cared about Black Widow. I never cared about the character. She's not very interesting to me, and I think it sucks that she's getting such a nice figure made of her. I don't think she deserves that. I think Black Widow, in my opinion, is the most boring Marvel character out there, along with Elektra. I just don't care about these characters. So yeah, let's move on to number 19. Now what we got here is Marvel Legends Spiral. This is a very cool figure. I don't know what to say. I don't know who this character is. All I know is I have seen her on the show, the X-Men animated series, back in the 90s. So she showed up in there, and she was a bad guy. So I guess she is the bad guy. But the figure itself is really awesome. She comes with seamless, I wouldn't call them seamless. They're more like, they're pinless. These are pinless elbows. And she comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arms, right? And the head sculpt looks great. She looks beautiful. And they did make Spiral the first time around, but it's not as articulated as this one. She is more articulated now. She comes with a bunch of weapons, and I do think it's a very nice looking figure. I think she looks badass, and it's one of the best female figures from Hasbro. So it is a very nice one. That's all I can say. I don't know who this character is, but again, I love this action figure, and there's no way am I giving this away. What a great badass looking character. Number 18 is McFarlane DC Multiverse Val Kilmer Batman. Whew, what a wordy thing. This came in a 6-pack. Yeah, you have to buy the 6-pack in order to get this guy. This is very articulated for a McFarlane figure, because look, he has ab crunch, right? And he's got great head articulation, great arms articulation. His legs are okay, but he's got double jointed knees, and yeah, and cloth cape. This is very, very nice figure, and new sculpt, very accurate to how he looked in the movie. What an amazing sculpt. It looks like him. The sculpt, top to bottom, are it's just very accurate. It looks just like him in the movie, and the colors are great. I mean, it's just fully sculpted boots. And these boots are very peculiar to the movie. So that is really nice. It looks like Val Kilmer too. Such a great figure. So yeah, 18th place. Now 17th place is Catman from McFarlane DC Multiverse. This is a very unique sculpt. It's the same mold as Nightfall Batman, but this one has a different belt on, right? Obviously, and he's got straps around his shoulders. But man, it's such a nice, really nifty figure. You don't see figures like that again. Yeah, he comes with a cloth cape. So yeah, I think it's a very, very nice super villain. Nice head sculpt. Yeah, I like it a lot. What we got on 16th place is DC Multiverse, Injustice 2 Brainiac. There's a very nice sculpt, unique sculpt, top to bottom. I mean, the whole body are unique sculpt. There is no reuse anywhere on the body. It's like, I'm serious, it is such a good figure. I can't believe it's $20, but it is. And it is very detailed. The articulation is okay, but you know, Brainiac is not a very flexible character, so it's a good enough figure, and I still think it's worth it. Every Superman fan should have this in their collection. What comes on the 15th place is DC Multiverse Rebirth Superman that came in a 2-pack with Ultraman. This is such a nice figure. Yes, it is a reuse. This is overly reused. It has been reused multiple times, but this is the one that actually works as a standard McFarlane Superman figure. And when it comes to Rebirth Superman, this is the perfect figure for that. Because two reasons. One reason is this figure comes with multiple hands, and he comes with a Diorama base that says Daily Planet. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. That is very nice for a 2-pack Superman. And not only that, but it also works really well with Bizarro Rebirth. You know, and this is the brighter, more saturated Superman and a happier face. And this is more angry Superman. And I mean, seriously, it's just perfect. So for a Superman fan, I think you should get this guy, especially if you have Rebirth Bizarro. So yeah, the Rebirth Bizarro works really well with this. And this is really saturated red, and it has the right tone of blue. And so it's such a good figure. But you have to mod the head, because what I did is I modded the bottom of the neck piece so that it would sit a little higher on the neck, and now he looks really good. So yeah, it's a nice one, and I can't stop posting it. Yes, it's the worst mold ever because it's been reused so many times, but this is a really good version of this mold. Like, it's like perfect. The cape is perfect, the colors are perfect. Red, it's very striking red with striking yellow, and great goofy smiling face. It's just, it all works out. I really like this one. What comes on 14th place is Marvel Legends Peter Parker, that came in a 2-pack with Smythe. This is really fun. I can't stop posting this guy, and I think the sculpt is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. This is like my favorite pedestrian type of a figure. My favorite alter ego action figure. It is so cool to have a Peter Parker figure, and he looks perfect. This is like the best Peter Parker action figure I have ever owned, period. So yeah, I really like this one a lot. So that's all I can say. And he is fun. I just wish he came with open hands, crawling hands. But other than that, it is a really nice one. I really like this. So I'm waiting for our Clark Kent action figure to come out from Muff Toys, and it would look really good with Peter Parker. Okay, 13th place is McFarlane DC Multiverse movie Robin. More specifically, Chris O'Donnell Robin. I mean, this is like the very first, most articulated Chris O'Donnell Robin you'll ever get. Ever. And this figure is so great. I mean, it is a Chris O'Donnell Robin. I mean, what a major surprise. And I love the head sculpt. It looks like him. And I like this costume. And I'm hoping they'll make Batman Forever Robin. I would love that version as well. So I'm getting 2 versions. This is the only Robin I care about, right? So I grew up on this version of Robin. So any other Robin, I'm okay with, like maybe Tim Drake, but the one from McFarlane looks terrible. But this is the best one they have done for Robin. And the articulation is great. It's got weird looking thighs, but other than that, it's like many of their unique sculpts. This is so good. You should get this guy. And he's really fun to pair with, like, Michael Keaton Batman. As in, like in some alternate reality, he teams up with Michael Keaton Batman. I don't know, it's just a fun thing to have. But yeah, it's a really fun figure. You should get one if you see one in the store, definitely. On 12th place is Maverick's Scarlet Spider. It's a good figure, but it just feels bare bones. The reason why he's in top 20 is because, it's Scarlet Spider, and he is it is most likely the most articulated Scarlet Spider you can get right now in the market. And so, there is an upcoming Marvel Legends version of Scarlet Spider, and I think that one is a little better. But for now, this is a good release from Mapix. But the best, it sucks because the spider is too small, and he's missing a big spider on the back. And so I think I mean, you have to pay an extra $20 to $25 for a custom vest that's more accurate to the comics, unfortunately. So but other than that, it's got really nice accessories. He's got multiple different head types for Scarlet Spider, and he's got a lot of web effects. I mean, it is a good figure, and you should definitely get it. I do think he is kind of worth it. But the biggest problem, the two biggest problem with this figure is the lack of paint application on the reds and inaccurate vest. So yeah. On 11th place, what we got is SH Figure Arts No Way Home Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Woo, what a long title. This is a pretty good figure, only because of the paint application. I mean, the paint application on the webbings is incredible. It's just impressive. And I do think it's a pretty good figure. And it comes with 2 different Peter Parker heads. And it comes with multiple hands. Comes with webbing effects. And it is very articulated for Spider-Man. And the texture detail on this and then the sculpt is really good. But it's I don't like the hip joints on this. That's why he's not in the top 10. It's just, I don't like, just look at the legs. Just look how squat the legs are. See, look at the legs. It looks like he's got some weird looking short, like really short looking legs. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, if you just cover that up, just cover up, then the upper portion of the body looks really good, except for the elbow joints. I mean, there's a lot of problems with it. It's just, I mean, the elbow joints and the legs and the hips just really hurt the figure. But it is nicely done, so I gotta give credit where credit is due. So it is a pretty, it's not a bad figure, but I would not, I mean, he's not as muscular as he was in the first 2 movies, and I prefer the muscular version. And so yeah, I mean, it's a good figure, but I plan to sell this one. Again, the paint application on the webbings, very impressive. It is super clean. I mean, just, there's no mistake on the webbings. It's really, really impressive when it comes to paint application. This is the most impressive paint application I've ever seen on the webbings. You have to admit that. That is impressive. Super clean. So yeah, yeah, it's not a bad figure. It's just, maybe, I mean, I would recommend you just wait until Mafex comes out with their Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You might be happier with that one more. Just saying. 10th place is Mafex Hush Poison Ivy. It is a very, very nice figure. Nice paint application. Articulation is pretty good, especially for a figure with long hair. The paint application, I mean, the hair is beautiful. Her face is beautiful. And a bonus is this is a supervillain action figure. So supervillains are always like really fun, and she has the fun factor when it comes to accessories, especially the briefcase. And you can put those leaves on any other figure you would want, so it's very fun. Ninth place is Mattel WWE Brock Lesnar. The first appearance Brock Lesnar. The next best thing. This figure is really cool to have. I was so surprised to see it in Walmart, and I was just really excited, so I had to get it. This guy comes with a t-shirt and the championship belt, and multiple hands and multiple heads for around $30. This is not a bad figure. It's really, really nice, and he's got a really cool tattoo on his back. So yeah, it's one of my favorites, and he is very fun to pose. And the sculpt is accurate. His body type looks exactly like how he did. Any fan of Brock Lesnar should have this in their collection immediately. I mean, anything. Just pay a little more just to get this guy. I am pretty sure they'll never make this guy ever again. 8th place is SH Figuarts Indiana Jones. I gotta say, man, this figure is great. He comes with multiple facial expressions, and how you do that is you can swap the faces by using face plates on it, and his hat is removable, and his jacket is removable. Yeah, it's just such a great figure overall, especially for those who don't like cloth, any kind of cloth on their figures. This is like the perfect figure for them because it has no cloth at all. And you can take the jacket off to make it seem like he took off his jacket, and you swap the arms. I mean, it comes with a lot, and the articulation is really good, and the likeness, especially the likeness of Harrison Ford, is really good. This is probably the best actor likeness I have ever seen on any action figure. Basically, it is such a great figure to have. Any Indiana Jones fan has to have this in their collection. Period. 7th place is Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine. This figure looks almost like a Mafex Wolverine. It is that good. Sometimes in some Instagram posts, I actually legit thought this was a Mafex Wolverine. And it turns out it's actually a Marvel Legends figure, which is crazy. It is impressive that it looks almost as good as a Mafex figure. Just think about that. And this is the most quintessential Wolverine figure you'll ever get. And I mean, light blue color, and the yellow costume, and the body type, and the head sculpt, and the claws. I mean, everything is just perfect. And the articulation is really nice, too. He can look all the way up, and he has butterfly joints. I mean, it's everything you ever wanted for a Wolverine figure. And it comes with a unmasked head of Logan. So, you can't go wrong with this. This is the best Wolverine figure that you can buy under $30. You have got to get this, especially as a Wolverine fan. 6th place is Mafex comic version Classic Thor. This guy is gorgeous, and he comes with a lot. He comes with multiple heads, multiple hands, and multiple hammer effects. I mean, he comes with everything you would need for a Thor action figure. And not only that, but he has really nice paint application. He's got some wash, some shading on his arms, some wash on his hair. He's got some shading on his thighs. So he is like really beautiful. You know, the colors really pop. He's got wired cape like all the way around. He's got on all corners. He's got wired cape. And he can cross his arms. He can do fly poses. The only drawback of this guy is the scale. He is a little small. He's a little undersized. But other than that, I think people are sleeping on this guy. He is being slept on hard right now. But I do recommend you get him. He's as good as his Superman figure. It's the most quintessential classic Thor. Fifth place is Mezco 112 Collective Deluxe Superman. Before I talk about the figure itself, I want to talk about the suit. Okay, the original suit had black border around it, and it had a very tiny edge shield on it. I was very, very disappointed when that happened, because the promo shots clearly had no black border around it, and it was clearly a bigger edge shield on the chest in the promo shots. And so they decided in production to just add the black border around the edge shield. That was the stupidest decision they've ever done. I'm not talking about the black border around the edge shield on the cape. That one's fine. I'm talking about the one on the front on his chest. So I had to order a third-party bodysuit from Toy Wally. So I had to order it. And it did not come with the trunks. It did not come with the belt. It did not come with the cape. I had to do that myself. So when I got it, and I'm very thankful for customizers like Toy Wally, who can make a better, more accurate edge shield. So I put that on the body, and guess what? It took me 3 freaking weeks to swap the bodysuit. So it is not easy to do this. You have to have some patience and experience to do this. So it took me 3 weeks to do that, and a lot of willpower, because I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to, because I wanted it to look exactly like the promo shots, the one I pre-ordered. So this bait and switch with that edge shield is a sin, major sin, and that brought the figure down to 5th place. He would have been first placed. He would have been first place if they just stuck with the promo shots. Like, make it look exactly like this one, without the black border around it. Then he would have been placed at first place, but he's not, so he's in 5th place. He only looks really cool, really good, and that's because I customized it with a third-party suit. So anyway, other than the suit, this figure looks amazing. Head sculpt looks exactly like Superman, and he is very articulated. He comes with a lot of accessories. Yeah, he comes with multiple head sculpts, and it's a really nice figure. But 5th place. 4th place is Mayfix comic version classic Magneto. This is a nice figure. Probably one of the best supervillain action figures I have owned. It's way up there, like above and beyond the Magical Superman. I didn't have to do anything with this guy. I don't have to do any modification or any custom or anything like that. There's one head sculpt that I wish they had it's the neutral head with the mask on or the helmet on. That I would have preferred that, but this is still good. He comes with a lot of heads. He comes with unmasked head or unhelmeted head. And the cape is really nice. Fully wired. The body type looks perfect. I mean, he's got that big barrel-chested look. He always looked like that, and it's the best thing ever made. It is so accurate to the source material. It's the best Magneto figure ever made. He's so high on the list. There's a reason why. It's because I always wanted a Magneto action figure. The quintessential classic Magneto. And now I have it in my collection, and I'm very happy. Third place is Amazing Yamaguchi Reverse Flash. This is a really, really, really nice figure. Yes, there is another Flash figure from Amazing Yamaguchi, and it's the regular one, the good guy Flash. But I decided to get the supervillain because I feel like I get the most of my value with a supervillain. I'll explain why in a moment, but right now about the figure, the only reason why he's not placed at the first place is because of those ugly ball joints in the shoulders, and there's a lot of gap in those shoulders. I think it is really, really ugly. And that's why he's not first place. He would have been, but he's not. So, yeah, he's at third place, which is still a good placement for an action figure. He comes with a lot of accessories, a lot of facial expressions, and a lot of power effects, and a few hands. So he comes with everything you need for a Reverse Flash. I do think he is worth it. If you want to have a supervillain in your collection, you should definitely get this before any other supervillain, because you can have him to go up against Superman even, or Batman. When you pose him along with, like, fighting with your superheroes, he can tell a story just by looking at him, and it's really, I mean, that's what makes it so good. And he's very articulated, very dynamic. About supervillain action figure being more worthy of your value. Well, reason why I think that way is because usually when I have supervillains in my collection, I have very, very hard time selling them compared to superheroes. Because usually toy companies, they make the same superhero over and over and over again. Like a McFarlane company, they would make like 60 different Batman and 30 different Superman, 8 different Wonder Woman. So it's not as repetitive when it comes to supervillains. And when you buy a supervillain, that's your supervillain, and it's gonna be in your collection for a very, very long time, because toy companies usually don't make another version of that character ever again. If they do make them, sometimes it's just a completely different look, and it's not the look you wanted. So sometimes it's usually just classic that you like. So yeah, anyway, that's why supervillains are usually more worth it. Second place is Mayfix Hush Superman reissue. This is a third reissue. Yes, he has already been released a couple of years ago. I think it was back in 2020. But this figure feels very different. I think they changed his legs. I think they gave him thicker looking legs. Because I remember the first one, his legs look oddly skinny, like a little too thin. But this one, it's not so thin anymore. He looks good. The legs look more proportionate to the rest of the body. And for some reason, his head does not look that small on this body. I don't know what they did. I don't know what sorcery they did, but this figure looks very different compared to the first one, even though it looks very similar, but totally different. And yes, this figure is so much better than Magical Superman. The reason why is because you don't have to worry about cloth damage, and you don't have to swap any bodysuit on this guy, because he already looks good. He has the perfect S-shield, perfect sized S-shield on his chest, and the colors are perfect. The cape is great. He has a really cool looking head sculpt. It looks like Superman. He looks badass with that head sculpt. This is the perfect modern Superman, classic Superman. He looks, you can't get any more perfect than this, right? I'm really glad to have this. Yes, this is a reissue, and it's the same figure as the first release, but I think this is a very different one. It just feels different. It looks different too. So, yeah, it's less glossy compared to the first one, and it just looks really nice. It has better joints. It's tighter, and they're better. They're not as loose. Also, want to say the neck joint is so much better on this figure. He can look all the way up for flight poses. That is a major improvement compared to the first one, because the first one could not do that at all. So, yeah. This figure has been released in 2023. So it counts as a 2023 figure. So, yeah, it is one of the best ones. So if you see this figure, especially the third reissue, do not hesitate and get it. Get this figure, especially if you are a Superman fan. You have to get this guy. It's the best Superman figure you'll ever own, ever. Remember, do not get the first release. That one was bad. But get the third release, the third reissue. What came in first place is Mayfix Hush Nightwing. Why is he in first place? Well, because he looks exactly like the character in the comics and Hush comics. It looks like he just came straight out of the comic book. He looks exactly like him. The proportions, the face sculpt, the hair, all Nightwing. And the body type is perfect. The scale is perfect. he is not too tall. Like, he's not as tall as Batman. He is shorter than Batman. And then he is taller than Poison Ivy. His muscle tone is perfect. He's not too muscular and he's not too skinny. He is built just right. The only problem is his articulation. His articulation leaves more to be desired. He is not that flexible, but he does look nice in some poses. He can pose, just not as flexible as like Mavic Spider-Man, for instance. He comes with a lot of accessories when it comes to batons, and he comes with 2 alternate heads. Well, it's just this head, the neutral head and the gritting teeth head. That's good enough for this particular character. Could have came with the smirking head, but whatever. There's nothing I would do to change it, to make it better, unless maybe the torso, but I wouldn't do anything to it, to be honest. He's not my top priority, but he is nice to have in the collection, because this is like the most quintessential Nightwing figure you can get. And I don't think any new Nightwing figure is going to be better than this one. Alright, that's it for top 20 of 2023 in my list. What about your list? What is your top 20 or top 10 best action figures of 2023? What do you think about my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Well, let me know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and keep collecting.